Find no end to deterioration, and no one has the explanation to why we are dying inside. There's no answer, no solution. There's no blunder, there's retribution to why we need the Zaro to take the pain away, the Zaro to kill the memories, the Zaro to block pain.
Ghosts and gazes. The neon lights of Dyrus pulsated like dying stars, casting a stark yet distorted glow against the crumbling facade of Ambrosia's Cafe, a sanctuary swallowed by a city long bereft of its soul. The air was thick and suffocating, saturated with the acrid aroma of burnt sugar, mingling with the bitter taste of regret. It was a scent that clung to the lives etched in the vibrant shadows, each a story of survival in a forsaken dystopia.
Morning, Arlo.
Estelle greeted, her voice a sharp chime amidst the oppressive silence, a fragile note in an otherwise discordant symphony. Arlo leaned over the counter, his features momentarily igniting with a flicker of hopeful desperation.
Take a look at that,
He urged, gesturing to the holographic display, a shimmering flux of electric blue data swirling like a tempest.
You seem like the perfect candidate.
Estelle's brow furrowed, intrigue igniting a spark of curiosity.
For what?
Project Metamorphosis.
He breathed.
It says right there, female, mid-20s, fair skin, gray eyes. You fit all that.
His finger tracing the glaring details that danced across the screen. Female, mid-20s, fair-skinned, gray eyes, extra points for orphans. A chill slithered down Estelle's spine as her initial curiosity morphed into a frown.
This wasn't in the announcements this morning.
No, the early announcement was for, agents, I believe.
Arlo responded, the faint glimmer of excitement dimming under a pall of worry.
This one's for a droid program. Your entire biology is going to be enhanced and reprogrammed.
What for? That seems risky.
She countered, crossing her arms as uncertainty danced in her eyes, like shadows twisted by flame.
Who knows?
Arlo's voice bore an undercurrent of desperation.
All I know is that for 500,000 OT, I'd do it than to be stuck in this job under this condition.
Estelle's heart sank, disappointment etching lines onto her features.
You've got a family, though.
Don't have 500,000 tabs.
Arlo shrugged dismissively, a troubling nonchalance coating his words.
I think they'll be just fine without me.
Don't say that.
She chided, a pang of sympathy wringing her heart tight. Arlo leaned closer, narrowing the gap between them with an earnest urgency.
You'd do anything for your family if they're all alive, wouldn't you?
Of course I would.
Estelle replied, a surge of anger flashing at the cruel reality behind his words.
There's nothing for us here, Estelle.
Arlo insisted, the intensity in his gaze reaching fever pitch.
This whole planet our government has colonized is a breeding ground for potential candidates for stellar projects beyond the ether.
No, not you too.
Estelle groaned, apprehension curling like smoke in her chest.
Yes, me too.
He insisted, each word a trembling flame.
Look around you. They don't care about the elderly, but they take extra care of potential mothers and encourage a second child.
Sudden heat smashed into Estelle's face, recoiling at the implications.
I never thought of it like that. I've always thought our population was just scarce.
That's because they recruit everyone to join the Stellar Order and leave the elders to rot.
Arlo replied, his passion igniting further.
You see, for every elder that doesn't bear a child, they die poor and hungry and no support goes to them. At least if I join any of their programs, I could give my family a good life.
Why don't you join?
Estelle proposed, concern webbing her voice with determination.
My parents won't let me. They don't believe the regime exists.
Do you believe they exist?
She pressed harder, a whirlwind of fear racing through her mind.
Yeah,
He admitted, quivering with the weight of his conviction.
though I haven't seen an angel myself, or witnessed an angel. I know there are things beyond us, and I'm kind of glad there are organizations out there trying to protect the universe from danger.
Then the door creaked open, like a sinister whisper, ushering in Diego, whose entrance cut the tension with his deliberate strides through the heavy atmosphere. Diego Numiden entered with effortless grace, his long flowing hair cascading around him like a curtain of silk. The neon glow from the city outside sliced through the dim interior, illuminating the polished surfaces and casting playful shadows that danced along the walls. A striking figure, he stood tall, his handsomely chiseled features a mesmerizing blend of Asian and Hispanic descent, a testament to a heritage that thrummed with the heartbeat of an ever-diverse world. He wore a gray hakama that draped around him like liquid steel, its soft fabric whispering tales of tradition and defiance in a city that had long forgotten such things. As he moved through the cafe, his dreamy eyes held a depth that seemed to pull at the very fabric of reality, mesmerizing anyone who dared to meet his gaze. There lay a profound stoicism in his demeanor, a quiet intensity that suggested he had walked through shadows and carried the weight of worlds unseen. In the desolation of the cafe, the hum of ancient machinery somehow fell silent, giving way to the pulse of his presence. Diego approached the counter, the flickering lights above casting rainbows across the surface of the polished countertop.
Hey, Diego! The usual?
His energy shifting as he scrambled for the coffee pot.
Yes, thank you.
Diego replied, his voice calm but harbored something that hummed beneath. A storm barely contained beneath the placid surface. Estelle stepped aside, handing him a glass of water, feeling the weight of his intense stare lingering on her movements like a predatory gaze.
You need to take it easy.
He advised, concern etching lines into his features. Tension tightened in the air between them.
Oh,
Estelle puzzled, words only half formed as nervous energy crackled around them.
You might want to stop consuming too much caffeine.
He warned, a weighty implication hanging in the air.
I don't drink coffee or anything with caffeine.
She exclaimed, her voice carrying an innocent bravado, though the tremor in her fingers sold her out.
Then, why are you having tremors?
Diego narrowed his gaze, piercing through her feigned indifference.
No, I'm not.
She deflected, though the tremor betrayed her.
Estelle, I don't come here often.
Diego said, voice low yet careful, uncovering layers of worry.
But every time I do, you are getting thinner. Your skin's getting paler. And now, you're showing slight tremors.
Hearing Diego's concerned words, Estelle felt a rush of emotions collide within her. A tight knot formed in her stomach as the weight of his observations sank in. It was one thing to notice changes in herself, the slow fading of vitality. But having someone close articulate those feelings laid bare a truth she might have been trying to deny. There was a flicker of embarrassment, her cheeks warming in response to the realization that her struggles were becoming evident to others. She had tried to mask her fatigue with brighter clothes and feigned smiles, but Diego's keen perception revealed the hollowness of her facade. She felt exposed, as though he could see past her attempts at normalcy. Estelle struggled to subdue the whirlwind inside her.
Oh, I didn't notice. I feel fine. Maybe it's just everything that's going on around that's making me anxious.
She stammered, desperation coating every syllable. In that moment, as she searched Diego's eyes for understanding, she felt fragile like a porcelain doll in a careless world, one unjustly crumbling beneath the pressures of life. There was a flicker of fear that swept over her as she contemplated what lay ahead if these troubling signs continued. Would she lose herself entirely? Would there come a day when even Diego's worry wouldn't be enough to pull her back from the edge? In the periphery, Zaros' voice blared from the cafe's speakers, cutting through the tension with a chilling frenzy.
Settlers of Dyrus, I urge you to think. I urge you to question reality and your beliefs. Do the angels exist? Do agents exist? Does the regime exist? For years, our planet has thrived in silence. We make it so easy for the Order to steal our loved ones and never see them return. When will you tolerate this? Is it all for the tabs? For riches? Why do you stoop so low? Why do you do this?
Diego looked her over thoughtfully, scrutinizing her with the kind of care that felt both unbearable and sweet.
On your next checkup, you better get your blood work done.
As Arlo poured Diego's order, the atmosphere thrummed with a palpable uncertainty, wrapping around Estelle like a cloak of darkness.
Here you go.
Sliding Diego's steaming mug across the counter. Midst the chaos, Estelle hummed a distracted note, the weight of Diego's concern settling heavily in her gut.
Am I getting thinner?
She thought, the buzzing neon glinting back at her cruelly. It danced between shadows, tearing apart the fabric of her reality. Cybernetic tendrils of anxiety wrapped around her mind, constricting as holographic billboards pulsed around her, the city alive with artifice.
How does he notice and no one else does?
She whispered to herself, swallowed within the electric buzz of the metropolis, a ghost drifting through a world indifferent to her fading existence.
Practicing again? Or training?
Arlo asked, pulling her back from the precipice of her thoughts.
Training.
Diego replied.
Training.
Estelle echoed, intrigued by the implication of purpose.
Oh, they're back at it, huh?
Arlo remarked, arching an eyebrow.
Yes.
Diego confirmed, towering with confidence.
I train the youth and the children in the ways of the sword.
Wow. I did not know that.
Estelle responded, genuine awe coloring her voice like the vibrant hues of the neon streets.
Really, Estelle?
Arlo scoffed, disbelief weaving through the air.
He's dressed exactly like a Jehezi.
Jehezi? What's a Jehezi?
Estelle asked, confusion knitting her brow tighter. Diego and Arlo exchanged incredulous glances before Diego spoke, his voice rumbling like distant thunder.
Why don't you stop by my dojo and see for yourself?
Sure.
She replied, her spirit igniting with newfound excitement.
Is this afternoon good? Because I'm generally very curious.
Diego smiled, and the warmth of his gaze was like sunlight piercing through a storm.
I, look forward to it.
Heat crept into Estelle's cheeks, her heart racing at the sight of Diego's gentle smolder. A nervous giggle escaped her lips, leaving her breathless as she felt the threads of her reality warp and weave into a new, thrilling tapestry.